When I first decided to do a costume, I ended up really getting into it. You can't get in my head because I'm already in my head. I'm this person, and that's who's going in to fight him the next day.
The winner by unanimous decision, Angela Overkill Hito.
Oh, your wrist sore from smashing buttons?
A beat just by smashing.
Oh, come on. I blocked that. My name is Angela Overkill Hill, and I'm an MMA fighter. Most of my costumes, I just kind of MacGyver it. Just get different materials from random places. A lot of times I'll start in a thrift store and see if I can find anything that I can use for whatever costume I'm thinking about doing.
When you're a professional fighter, you have to be an individual. If you're not an individual, you're one of many, you know? So I think it was important in kind of bringing herself to some people's attention, you know, and showing off that creative side of her.
When I was a kid, we always had like some kind of video game in the house, and that was like a big part of my growing up. It wasn't until after graduating from school that I started getting back into fitness activity. I did my first Muay Thai class with my husband, Adam, and we both fell in love with it. Thank you for breakfast.
No problem. We used to spar all the time. Her brother got really mad once because we got a photo, I busted her nose in sparring.
My brother was just like, "Did he really hit you?" I was like, "Yeah, that's how we train." This is the outfit, my everyday cosplay.
We actually met on a gap year when we were both in Kyoto Seika University in Japan. And she came from Cooper Union in New York, and I came from Glasgow School of Art. We kind of met in the middle, and we hung out, and that's how we met initially. We were there as part of our course. We were meant to be working. She was meant to be animating. I was meant to be painting, but we didn't do a whole lot of that. You know, we went around the temples, we saw the touristy stuff, and then we kind of bonded over this mutual interest in arcade games.
I was always pretty creative. When I was in school, I started dabbling with animation. When I started working for Animation Collective, I was working on the game design, like the animations that would happen within the game. Like if something blows up, I'd do like the explosions. The checks started coming a little late. The company didn't have enough money to continue the projects we were working on. At that time, it was like the recession and people weren't really getting hired. I was training people at the time too. At that point, I was like, I'll bartend, I'll do my private lessons, and I'll fight. I heard that the UFC was bringing in the strawweight weight class, which is 115 pounds. I was stoked, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna try out for the show. We flew down to Vegas to do the tryouts. I hit pads for about like maybe 10 seconds, and they said, Angela, you can stop. And then afterwards, Dana White said something like, that was some good fucking striking. And I was like, yay. It was a really tough experience to be in there with those seasoned people and try to show like, hey, I belong here.
For the winner by unanimous decision, Keisha Tiny Tornado Corner.
She'd never really lost before. We had that kind of talk, and we said we probably have to move somewhere if you want to be successful at this.
We decided to move to San Diego and go to Alliance. Once I got to Alliance, there were a bunch of girls my size who I could train with. People who could beat me up, who could out-wrestle me, who could tap me out.
We walked into Alliance, and there's a lot of really, really talented fighters there, and high-level guys, UFC, Bellator, like all the rest of it. But they're like a strange bunch. Like, it doesn't all quite match up. Eric Del Fierro, the head coach there, is really great at what he does, but like a definite weirdo, like we all kind of are.
The goal is to come in, work about an hour, beat up your friends, and go home happy. Angela Hill came to us already being in a big show like the UFC, and she was struggling. You know, she had just lost a fight, and she was looking for a facility or a group of coaches that could mesh with her and get her to the next level. And it took a while, but once we did, we started growing and heading in the right direction.
I think I'm done.
The first sparring session we had, which was like her second day here, we had like a really epic session together, and I was like, man, she's freaking awesome. And then we just started talking about like gaming. We definitely kind of escalate things a little when we get into each other. Like we'll go, okay, we're gonna go nice and light. I think she starts it personally, but she says I start it, so I don't really know. But she'll just hit me really hard, and then I'm like, okay, well, you wanna play hit hard, we'll play hit hard. I love this girl.
I was really anxious for that next fight, and once I got to San Diego, they told me, oh, hey, we're gonna match you up with Rose Namajunas.
3 rounds in the UFC strawweight division.
I did like a get-up that I wasn't really used to yet, and I gave up my back.
It is all over! Angela Hill fought it as much as she could.
Unfortunately, that fight ended pretty fast. And then a month later, I found out I was cut. I had just moved out to San Diego. I pretty much put all my eggs in one basket. It was like, okay, we're gonna train here, we're gonna live here, me and Adam. And it was super scary because I'm like, oh man, did I just like make the worst decision of my life? Like, did I fuck up? After that fight, talked to Eric. He's like, yeah, you know, it was just mat time. You just need more hours in the gym. That's all it is. Adam was super supportive during that time. Every now and then, I'd feel myself like, you know, just thinking, just getting stuck in my head. And, you know, he'd do everything he could to try to make me feel better.
I think my role was trying to keep Angela's spirits up. After her release from the UFC, she played a lot of video games, and one of them was Fallout. Fallout's super immersive, you know, you can really kind of lose yourself in it. Like you could play 10 hours a day, easy. So that's what Angela did.
Fallout was super therapeutic for me. I think a lot of it had to do with just how open-ended it was. Like, you can go along the regular mission, or you could just walk around and explore. I hadn't thrown myself into video games since like my college days. That's when I got the call from Invicta to join their ranks. Invicta FC is an all-female MMA promotion. When you're in Invicta, you're fighting legit competition, and half of the girls who are in the UFC already fought in Invicta. Invicta had this reputation where a lot of the girls would dress up during weigh-ins in different costumes. I was one of the people who would make fun of that. Like, oh my God, this is so stupid. Like, it looks so stupid. But then when I knew I was fighting for Invicta, I was like, well, I guess I have to wear a costume. I'm thinking, man, I wonder what I could dress up as for Invicta as I'm playing the game. And then it finally hit me.
I remember a manager, like, she came down before the weigh-ins in like the vault 12th, and he was like, what are you wearing, you know?
I mean, all of her cosplay just kind of got better and better and better every single time. My favorite one was when she did the Afro Samurai.
I would wait until like the last 2 weeks of fight camp, and that's when I'd start getting my materials and start working on it. It was really cool being able to use these characters because I was able to just like get into kill mode, basically. I think a lot of people expected me to fail in Invicta as well, and I proved them wrong. Every person I fought until I got the belt, I was the underdog, and I beat all of them.
Invicta FC champion, Angela Hill.
This is my costume closet. I keep all my costumes in here, magical closet. In fight camp, the last couple of weeks are the most nerve-wracking. That's when the self-doubt creeps in. That's when, you know, you can overthink stuff. You can get into your head way too much. Instead, I'm thinking about my costume.
Every fighter has steps that they take towards the day of the fight or towards the day of the weigh-ins. And it helps them calm their nerves. It helps them channel their energy. Some people meditate, some people pray, some people have different stuff. Hey, Angela has cosplay, that's her thing, you know? It helps her focus, and she knows she's fighting the next day when she dresses up the Friday before.
I'll look for some shorts. I always wanted to do Balrog from Street Fighter, the boxer character. He was like based off of Mike Tyson. These are like a good material for that because he has the cut-off shorts, so I can cut this off here. You never really know what to do when you face off. It's a really awkward thing. It's kind of like one of those weird things like, what do I do with my hands? Do I smile? Do I not smile? And that just, you know, writes it out for me. Like, okay, this is what that person would do, so this is what I'm gonna do. I was shopping for a Balrog costume, the boxer.
Yeah.
In Street Fighter, just up to like, you know, intimidate.
Well, you intimidate. But when you're going on the ring, what do you do?
I don't know, this is, all right.
Your eyes go down, what do you do?
Wait.
Ooh. Oh yeah. Don't mess with her.
That's all right, right?
Yeah, oh,
okay.
that's good. That's good.
I don't know. Then I got the call to come back to the UFC. They needed someone to fight Jessica Andrade. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. Like, this would be an awesome comeback. So I was like, man, what can we do at the last minute that's like gonna look cool? And that's when we were like, I could do Sagat. It ended up being one of the most popular cosplays that I did. The reach that the UFC has is so much wider than Invicta, so it was really cool to see the difference. I like the fact that fighting is giving me this avenue towards this other thing that I love to do, which is playing video games and doing the cosplay and using my creativity. Jump in my game, I'm ready. Yeah, jump in my game.
All right, Inch, let's do it.
Let's do it! Yeah, we're on the same team, but we're still like competitive because we want to see who gets the most kills out of the squad.
I do medic, she does engineer, and I kind of follow behind her and hope that, and try and kind of keep her alive and pick people off at a distance, and she has to do the heavy lifting in close. It's like our marriage.
Where are we going?
All right, they ain't taken C yet, so D's probably clear.
Oh, I see you.
You still alive?
Yeah.
All right, stay alive.
Oh, shit.
There's another one. There's two.
Yeah, bitch. What? 950 was so close. I think we did good, though. I was really impressed with our performance.
I'm not.
It's been like quite a journey, and I feel like a lot of the things that I've done have been kind of against the grain, like not really the direction people would have expected me to go. It's a really cool feeling to encourage people to be different. There's Black women who were inspired to go to Thailand and train there for a year. There's people who were inspired to cosplay. I like the way that I've been going about intimidation, and I like the way that I've gone about promoting myself. I'm here to fight, and I'm here to dominate.
For the winner, by unanimous decision, Angela Overkill!